All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Hooked Up Fishing. This is going to be a follow-up shoot with me explaining what I had planned to explain in my last video. And I was trying to upload some footage to show you how the charts played a big part in that day and how the fishing was that day. And even though the feed showed to be early that morning at 6 a.m. starting and then peaking around 7:30 a.m. or so, and then only tapering down around 10 a.m. as you can see, that was totally different than what the feed chart said, and it had a lot to do with everything that you'll see here on the charts that I use. On the charts that I use, the next full moon was in 7 days. I don't know why the screen is doing what it wants to do. I knew I was going to have some difficulty doing this, but there it is. So the moon was going to be full in the next 7 days. So the full moon was on the rise, and it was 68.8% full. It was more than half. And what you also had was that morning, the pressure was on the rise, and it was already high. It was 29.76 is what the pressure was. That's already high. And then it was going to raise as high as 29.86. Okay? And that was going to be from that same 6 a.m. until 9 a.m. or so, when it peaked right at 9:30, 10 o'clock a.m. when it peaked very high. So it was high, and then it was going to very high right when they said the feed was supposed to be on. Normally when you have a rising pressure like that, especially when it's one of these where it's like a mountain, where it's almost running straight up, and then later here, I tell you, me and this technology, later running straight back down. Right after it peaked at 11 a.m. or 10:30 a.m., it immediately, it didn't ride that high, it ran up high and then immediately dropped back down. And see, this is when the feed started really, really well for me out there that day. And it was simply because that full moon was already 68.8% full, a high pressure system that got extremely high. And then when it started tapering down, the bite got better that evening. But because of that moon controlling pressure, we had high winds, rough water that I fished through in that last video. I wanted to incorporate this into that video so I would be explaining, but lately my computer is not allowing me to do voiceover in my videos, because I would normally run the video showing you the moon phase as it runs here, and then as it kept running I would be narrating as I'm doing now, but I'm having to manually do it with my phone and show you guys that when you have a rise in a high pressure, fish will feed. Fish will not feed, even worse if it's low and just riding a low. If it's just riding a low, those fish will not feed on a just stagnant low. Even though there's low pressure, a lot of times there'll be a period where they will not feed because there's no movement in the pressure. So if it's a low pressure system and it's just riding that low, it'll be a poor feed. If it's a high pressure system and it's just riding that high, there'll be a real low feed, really low because of the high pressure. But as long as it's moving, whether up or down, those fish will feed. But in this case, it showed the feed to be early that morning, and it didn't happen. They fed some, along with me not being in the right area. Even the catfish, when I was over there, because all the catfish ran tighter. And that high pressure affects crappie more than any other fish in the freshwater system, because crappie have one of the largest swim bladders of most all of those fish, because they suspend. That swim bladder helps them to stay buoyant. That's why they suspend a lot. But when that pressure is up, it puts pressure on that swim bladder, which gives them a false sense of being full, and that's why they won't want to feed. So even though the charts said, man, you looked at it, it was 100% feed, it was going to be great that morning, 6 a.m. to about 8 a.m., 2 good hours of it's going to be a feed. Didn't happen. Okay, and it didn't happen because of the simple fact that you had, and there was a chance of rain that day. That's what it was very cloudy. If you go back to that last video, you'll see it was super cloudy. I had my rain pants on already, so if the sky busted open, I would already be ready. I could just reach behind me, grab my slicker top, and throw it on, and I'd be ready. And I wouldn't be trying to get my pants on, my slicker pants on, in the middle of the rain coming down on me. So I was prepared for the rain, because there was a chance that it would rain, and that rain was going to start. I just snapped that picture right around 11 a.m. when that pressure peaked, when it got all the way high. But because of that high pressure system, it must have kept that rain away. And so what happened was, what happened was that pressure started dropping, but the feed wasn't exactly just great or fire. It was, me working and making them feed, because 10 a.m. till around 3:30 or 4 p.m. it fell, but it only fell 29.86 to 29.76, a tenth. It was still high, but they got to eat. Sometime throughout the day, they have to eat. They swim, they burn energy, they're going to have to feed. It's just that they didn't feed as heavy, okay, because of that swim bladder. You know how sometimes you just don't feel like eating a whole lot. A lot of times that's high pressure. With us, we have so many other contributing factors. So, we're the smartest, but we're not the smartest, because we eat a lot of stuff that we shouldn't be eating. Stuff that triggers food, you to be wanting to eat, and you don't, because of all the chemicals and synthetics and all of the crap that's in a lot of the stuff that we eat. That's why you want to try to live off the land. You want to try to get all organic. You want to try to grow your own. You want to try to live off the land. Stop fast food and stop tater chipping. Stop all that crap. I don't do it. That's why I'm, kayaking 6 and 8 and 12 hours with paddling my kayak at 65 years old all day. And, thanks to God, number one, he's the one that blessed me with the ability. But that's something I wanted to add to that video, and I wasn't able to because I hadn't learned how to send stuff from the phone to the computer as well as I thought I did. I did in this one here, because you can see I added a video, and that video is my video kind of showing that, running through running through some of the clips from that day. Pictures of the screen, some pictures of the fish, some of the slabs, another picture of the catch that day, another picture of the catch inside the cooler, and then it'll get to the part to where I'm showing the charts, another picture of the fish, and it runs through some of the jigs that I used that day, but I'm learning, as I'm going. I'm having to do all this on my own. Thank God I got a couple of computer tech courses that I took that I got certificates in, so I was able to add those charts. You see the charts running in there now, but I still haven't got my computer back to the Geek Squad over at Best Buy, so I'll find out why my voiceover is not working, where I won't have to sit here and do this. I could have just voiced over the video and I could have been explaining as the video was running. But it's all good, no real big deal, no harm, no foul. I still, I'm gonna find a way. Somebody called me the hard hitter, I'm gonna make it happen. So that's what happened that day. You had a moon phase that was 7 days away from being full, and it got worse because some guys went out some days after and they had an even tougher time in the morning, and the feed was even later in the day, because as that moon constantly gets closer to that full, that's what's going to happen, especially with crappie. But yeah, guys, excuse me, just wanted to run through that. Stop this. Just wanted to run through that, and kind of bring you all along with me on how to read your charts and follow those charts. So if you're going to go fishing, you could pick the best time of the day to go target those fish. Me, I like to fight through the tough times too, because that tough bite really makes and hones your skills to me, and everything is different for other people. A lot of people don't have all that time to waste. And one of my buddies was going out, it was yesterday, and yesterday I didn't check it, but I'm sure yesterday was even worse as far as the feed times and how that pressure was, because he said it was just all day that it was horrible. And I mean all morning. I mean not even a bite. Like in the morning I was catching fish the other day, but let's say, will it go back to, yeah, it went back to Saturday. So Saturday, that pressure was high for him. But look what it did all morning. It just rode a high, 29.84, all morning long. Then it even got higher. And it wasn't that mountain type effect. You see here, it rode that high all morning. That's high, 29.84, that's high. It rode it, and then it got even higher, and it just rode it. And it didn't drop off, and I put that line there, until like 1 o'clock. And even though it dropped, it still only dropped down to 29.82. It was still high. It looks like it's dropping a lot, but if you look at the numbers on the side, it dropped very little in the pressure, but it did go down, and he did catch some fish, but it was still a tough bite. So it got even worse. And if we go further on, we'll look, he had to face winds, and they showed the feed. Oh, that's the tide. So I'm going to go back up here. And it showed the feed to be at 4 p.m. was the feed. The rest of the day, that feed was horrible. It was flat pretty much all day. And that's Saturday. It stayed flat. It had one little spike up at like 10 a.m. or a little after 10 a.m., but was nothing. It was flat all morning. Horrible, horrible, all day, horrible. And then boom, we're under that full moon phase, okay? And it's gonna affect the fish. So a lot of times when I see something like that, I'll stay home and be more productive and tie some jigs, unless I just want to get out on the water and want to just suffer, okay? And it doesn't matter what lake you're on. It doesn't matter that I was on a lake that you may say it's a productive lake, or conditions are great there right now. It's a very fishable lake with a lot of structure and a lot of crappie. Don't matter. They're still crappie. They're still fish. They're still natural crappie that respond to the barometric pressure, to the moon phase, to all of that. Okay, so no matter what lake you're on, no matter how good the fishing is, when this comes into effect and that barometric pressure does what it does, and that moon phase is where it's at, you're going to have a tough time, man. And a lot of times you can go to those charts, and I use that app, which, I love it. It's so easy to navigate, and it has so many options there for you. And it's called, let's see if I can go back to it, Fish Angler. It's that one right there at the bottom with the green with the little white circle. Get off of the screen there. But it's called Fish Angler, and that's the one I use. And you could also post your pictures there. You could share with other guys that's on the app all over the world. I mean, New York. I do local sometimes, because you can go in here and select where you want, to talk to people. It also has a lot of stuff like this, charts, navionics and stuff is there on this one app. Everything is in this one app, to where you could share with other fishermen, post your pics. And the best part about it is the forecast, where you get your fish forecast, your weather forecast, your barometric pressure, your winds, your tide, your sun forecast, and your moon phase. Okay, you get all of that on this one app, and it's called Fish Angler, and that's the one I use. And you could use those charts to help you out in picking days where you can be your most productive. And that's what I wanted to go over with you guys. And this is the week that, God is going to bless me to where, and I stand on it. I don't question. Faith is my biggest, thing. I always have faith, because I've been tested. Okay. My mom went on home hospice in 2019, and I took over her care. She got better instead of worse, lived 4.5 more years, getting better instead of worse, on natural foods, taking her away from all those meds. Loved crappie. I learned how to catch crappie with her mom, okay, in 1975, 76. And the fish that she ate as a kid, I was able to feed it to her in her adolescent years. 4.5 years of catching crappie and feeding her that crappie. And just a blessing, okay? But I've been tested the whole time, the whole 4.5 years. Devil busy as he want to be, trying to break me. And this week, God is going to break those chains. And I'm going to be able to do what I want to do with my channel, to be able to promote my channel the way I want to promote my channel. Because I've been stuck at 5,000 subscribers for 4 or 5 years, because my focus was my mom, and my focus was me taking care of my mom and my house, all on my own, off of my work ethics and the YouTube, my jigs, my side jobs, all of that. Okay, so I'll be able to get this computer where I want to get it. I'll be able to do the kind of editing and stuff that I want to do, and the teaching that I want to do. Because I got from 1975, 76 up until 2024 crappie fishing and learning along the way. Believe me, I learn every day that I go out there. I go out there with intentions to learn. Yeah, I have fun, because that's what I love to do. But man, let me tell you, I love it. I love it, and I love that I was able to learn how to crappie fish while I was taking my grandma, my mom's mom, out there fishing. And Nelson, still have that combo. You hear me talked about it at the Houston Fishing Show. I did the Houston Fishing Show in 2019 and said I was going to start my business. Poured my slab in the back and all of this that I plan to do. But God has other plans. And so when you're following in his footsteps, the devil's going to get super busy. And believe me, tested beyond measure. But he's breaking the chains this week. God is breaking the chains. And I know it, and I stand on faith. And so, with that being said, the channel will take a real big transformation. I'll take on a real big transformation. Just looking forward to it, man. Really, really looking forward to it. You know, it's just been a long time coming, as they say, you know, but you got to stay the course. You know, you just got to be thankful in good times or bad. Sacrifice everything to do what you have to do, and that's what I did, and that's what I'm going to continue to do. But I'm going to post this. I'm going to add this video to that. It's going to be, you know, I don't know if they're going to let me monetize it. I don't know. I'm not really, I don't care. God's going to bless me with all the money I need, and He always has. Anytime that I felt like a bill was going to be due, because I took all of the money that I had and put it in one nest egg, basically shut my business down to running on vapors, on 10%, and took care of my mom. 4.5 years, spent everything that I had, sold all the kayaks that I had plans to do kayak tours with, and excursions, and my place in Conroe that I had, and all of that stuff. I put it to the side, take care of my mom and my family, sacrifice everything. Sold race car motors, race cars, kayaks, sold everything that I had to take care of my mom. And I'm still standing, and I'm still building back after she just passed a year and a half ago, or 2 years roughly, at 99 years of age, in her own home, in all her right mind and all her right senses, ready to go, telling me daily that I'm ready to get out of here. And I told her God still had work for you, and He still had things for you to do. So with that being said, man, I'm gonna, you know, I know I can get long-winded, and, you know, hey, turn it off, you know, because I'm gonna always uplift God. I'm gonna always stand on that, no matter what. You know, the devil can do what he want to do. He ain't breaking my, he's not breaking my faith. It's not gonna happen, man. I don't care if it gets worse, you know, from here. I don't care. I mean, I'm gonna stand on God 100%, you know, because He's the only person you can stand on. You'll learn that throughout life. Believe me. I've I've had it all, lost it all, had it all, lost it all, you know, and thank God, you know, I'm still here, you know, and it's just one of them deals, man, to where I'm just wanting to share, because if God blesses you with something and you clutch your hands, He can't put nothing else in there. So that's why, you know, a lot of people, hey, man, you telling everybody, you showing everybody. So what? God bless me, He showed it to me, and you need to freely give, and that's what I do. I'll tell you my spot, I'll tell you what I use, I'll tell you what color, I'll tell you where they're at, I'll take you to the spot. I don't care. I don't care. He put enough fish and stuff on here for all of us. If you want to have a more productive water system, stop polluting it. Stop trashing this earth that God gave you. Stop all of the chemicals and runoffs and trash that we put into our waters. You know, years ago, you could go to Galveston and there were tarpon and snook and all kind of offshore fish would come into the jetty systems. But now we're just pumping chemical plant wastewater, treatment plant water, blowing out into the Gulf all the time. And hey, I might get flack behind it, but who cares? It's the truth. You know, clean water and good pristine water is going to have better fish population, because they're going to have a healthier environment. The fish are going to survive better. The vegetation that's going to protect the small fish is going to be there. It's going to be in place. It's not over harvesting by a fisherman. We can't, there's no way a man with a rod and reel can outfish all of these big fishing boats, dragging these nets, filling these markets, because everybody's lazy and don't want to get out and learn how to fish. Don't have time. Don't have time to form. It's by design, you know. You work your whole life, and at 65 you retire barely with enough to make it, and hope they don't take that away, and you know, you're on the downhill side trying to enjoy life. Nah, that ain't how it goes. You know, you better get out and enjoy it now. Try to build your own. You know, this world was designed for everybody to have their own piece of land and grow their own and do their own. but they built these big old metropolitan cities and nothing but concrete. That's why it floods, because there's no land and soil for the oil to absorb. It's just anyway, I may edit some of that out because I don't want the flack. I just get tired of it. But yeah, it's one of them deals, man, where it's time. It really is time. It's time for us to take care of Mother Earth and take care of your, health and your well-being and your mental, and it starts with eating right, eating all the right foods, man, getting away from junk and chemically raised and processed meats that are not processed by somebody that went and killed something and processed it, instead of these big old plants where they're pumping these animals and feeding them growth hormones through a test tube and growing them really fast, where you could have a baby chicken in 3 weeks or 4 weeks. He's a full-blown chicken, and it's just horrible. It really is. You got the worst food care system and the worst health care system in the world here, and it's sad. And doctors just target people, and it's called a practice, and they just treat you. They treat themselves too, because they get a big paycheck, giving you something that's going to give you another ailment or another sickness, man. It's just sad. I wish that everybody had a caring heart and really cared about people, and really wanted to save the world and save people. But fortunately, this is the world we live in, man. Until somebody makes a change, I hope that happens, maybe not in my lifetime, but hopefully in somebody's lifetime, man. I'm real passionate about that. It really bothers me, man. I care deeply. It's my problem, I get in trouble so much because I care so much, I'm so freely given, and people think they're taking advantage of me, but nah, man, you can't take nothing from me, man. God gives me everything. Nothing in this world that you can take care of me, because there's nothing in this world I want other than what God put here, and that's everything that He put here. All of that material stuff, nah, man. You don't see me seeking that. I let my wife drive a Mercedes. I drive an old Chevy truck, bro. I'm good with that. I pull up on side of a guy in a Lamborghini, and I feel just as proud in my '84 Silverado, and I'm gonna, we'll stay that way, stay humble. But yeah, man, hard hitter, just sharing something with you guys, man. Wanted to do some teaching and ended up doing some preaching, I guess, if you want to call it that. But it needs to be said, it really does. I don't want the flack, I don't want the heat, but I ain't scared of it, Nah, man. I was born and raised in the city, but I'm country in the corner on the cob, man. I've been chasing birds and rabbits ever since I was a little kid. Grew up in Liberty Gardens, Cashmere Gardens, Fifth Ward, Texas. But I was shooting slingshots, chasing rabbits, eating red-chested robins, and picking blackberries ever since I was a kid, man. Building go-karts, motorcycles, mini bikes, race cars, race motorcycles. I just very, very gifted, man, and thankful to God for that. It's nothing that I can't do and I can't fix, and I wish I could fix the world. That's what I'm trying to do, man. I really want to. It needs fixing bad. All of this hate. You can put a bunch of red ants in a jar and a bunch of black ants in a jar, and they'll live in there in harmony. But you shake that jar and they'll all start killing each other. Somebody's shaking a jar, man. It ain't but one race, and that's the human race. It's the race that God made. We're all God's people, man. Ain't no such thing as race. It's one race, the human race. Okay? Don't be no fool, man. Better wake up. That's all I can tell you. Because God sees all, and all will have to see Him one day, whether you believe it or not. I'd rather believe that, and at the end be wrong and lose nothing, than to not believe that, and then at the end lose everything. Just think about it. Hard hitter, never quitter, won't stop till the fish get bigger. Remember to stay hooked up. That's with the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Peace in the belly of the beast. And I'm out. Closing, guys. Thanks for all the likes, subscriptions, comments, man. Thanks for everybody rolling with me. Um, I'm just coming in here to say that it might not have came out like I wanted it to. I'm getting ready to go ahead and hook this, uh, these small cameras just plug right up into this USB and they load right to my laptop. So I'm about to load this footage and I hope it comes out good to where you guys can see what I really got on there to talk about, which was, how to reach your choice. But, of course, I got carried away because I got so much that I want to share and so much that I want to give, man, and to try to help so many people. I've been posting on Facebook this week, a bunch of different guys, older guys that, when I was 16 years old, Nelson, as I talked about, that taught me how to, crappie fish with artificials. I was 15, 16. This man was probably 60, 70 years old, man. He's passed on, but a lot of my friends are older. And so a lot of my friends, Mr. Johnny James, man, he messaged earlier this week that, he was having a lot of health issues and he was going to have to sell his boat. And I posted that to try to help him sell his boat on Facebook. And I had posted my brother's boat a while back because of his health, and, we just, we gotta take better care of ourselves, man. We really do. We gotta eat better, because our body is the temple, and God wants us to take care of it, man. I'm just passionate about that. It really bothers me when I see my older, friends that get up in age and they gotta pass their boat on, or their health is failing them, And I thank God for mine, man, because I'm able to 65 years old kayak for 12 hours. Paddling with my legs all day, 6 and 12 miles, all over big lakes, and just, I'm just so thankful of that, man. But it's not by accident, man. I eat a lot of raw beets, celery, carrots. I mean, I make a salad that's like a pico de gallo where I chop up raw organic beets, celery, cucumber, turmeric, ginger, organic red onion, celery, and I chop it up small like a pico de gallo, and I use cayenne pepper, because cayenne pepper is the best thing in the world for your heart and your arteries. If someone is having a heart attack, you can put pure cayenne pepper on a spoon and get it in their mouth, and it'll stop that heart attack. It conditions your heart. If you have a leaky valve or something, it'll stop the valve from leaking, and it thins the blood if it needs to. It's what God put here. And they make pure, organic, municipal cayenne pepper. So what I put on that salad that I told you about is cayenne pepper, Celtic salt or pink salt, Himalayan salt, and organic, cold pressed, 100% olive oil. Okay, and any of your beets and stuff that you get that grow in the soil, make sure those things are organic and are from a good source, because most of those type of vegetables that are in the ground, they absorb everything that's in that soil. So if you got people that's spraying pesticides and stuff like that in your area, that's not good. What I've done for years back in my gardens is I've been planting fish and digging holes and burying my fish carcasses back there for years. That's why my stuff thrives and I have so much that I produce, is because, I cultivated my soil. But yeah, man, I just hope this comes out good and clear to where I gave a good definition on how to reach your choice. And I wanted that because that was a great day to explain how that went. Because there was fish stacked up everywhere that day. I mean, loaded up. And they would not touch anything under that high pressure, man, like that. So, no matter how cold my hand ties are, they still, man, it was a tough fish. But, the charts did exactly what they said they do. And the fish followed those charts exactly that day. So I just wanted to do some teaching, man. And I just hope it comes out good. I'm getting ready to load it. And so hopefully it'll post fast, man. Thank you guys, like I said, for all the likes, watches, and subscriptions. And if you can, man, share the channel. It's time to grow it, man. I can't be sitting at 5,000 subscribers, man. This message needs to get out to everybody. And I need to share with everybody, man, because that's what it's all about. We need to uplift each other. you know, and not beat each other up and knock each other down. You know, this world does that enough to us as it is. All right. I love you, and God does too. Believe that.
Hey, everybody clap your hands. They not like us. I took a pocket to put. Hey, they not like us. I took a pocket to pay. Take it for. Hey, you a rapper, young whippersnapper. You ain't been through nothing. Have you ever had to leave the studio? Cause your sugar got low. I got gout in my pinky toe. Hey, did you hear what I said? I took a pocket to pop. I got gout in my pinky toe. You a rapper, young whippersnapper. You can't beat me. I got a bad bladder. Every 30 seconds, I